Sweet.
Good afternoon, everyone. Everyone's coming on.
Angelica, is this your last week officially?
Yes, Friday is my last day.
Oh, wow. That's bittersweet.
Well, I'll still be around, don't worry.
I know.
Yeah, I was going to actually do a little shout out for Angelica today for all of her hard work and
Sweet.
Well, I ain't going anywhere, so don't be too excited.
Nope. Because you know what?
Yeah.
Because Angelica's graciously agreed that she will stay on and be our contractor for our social media platform.
Awesome.
So I'll be forcing you all to still participate in filming videos for the YouTube channel.
Yeah.
We'd be lost without you. Or definitely would be struggling more.
We might be doing a video here quickly about the Fully Free campaign that's kicking off on October 2nd. We're having an event here.
You'll have to tell us more.
How you been, Toy?
Dan, how's it going?
Good, buddy.
Long time.
I know. Miss you.
Yeah, I've been really busy. I've been meaning to email you. I apologize. I spoke with Angie though and told her my schedule has really blown up a lot.
Yeah, she passed that on. No worries. Just wanted to give you a shout out.
Yeah. You guys, event's this Saturday, huh?
Yes.
Yep. I'll be in Chicago at an event. Yeah, they're doing something similar here, like they're doing here in Chicago, but of course, my employer said I got to be up there.
Yeah. Do you know
my next couple of Saturdays are spoken for, huh, Toy?
Yeah.
Do you know Lily by chance? Leroy W from Peoria?
Don't ring a bell.
He's obviously more, I mean, he comes to this community for meetings and that kind of thing. He's going to be our speaker, but I didn't know if maybe you guys met somewhere.
I probably know him if I've seen his face.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, it is 3:33 and I'm going to respect everybody's time. Thank you, Dan, for grabbing that record. Hey, welcome to our September Recovery Month ROSC Council meeting. It's nice to see everyone's faces. You know, eventually we will be in person, but I'm not going to lie, it probably won't be until the spring, especially with the whole environmental landscape. So I know a lot of you are actually thanking me. So we'll go ahead and get started with introductions. Go ahead and say your name. What brings you to the ROSC table. Try to keep it short and sweet because we do have Feli that will be reading from her book, and then also some open discussion. And our huge ROSC recovery picnic is this Saturday from 1 to 4 at the Anderson Pavilion. But we will definitely be giving you more details about that. So my name is Angie, for those that may not know me, and my last name is Chasensky. I'm the ROSC project coordinator. I'm also a person very passionate about social justice for marginalized populations. I am myself in recovery. I'm completing a master's in clinical mental health counseling. So I'm doing an internship at Heartland College. I'm on a few boards here in town, John M. Scott, the Recovery and Problem Solving Court Board, and the Carl LGBTQ Advisory Board. And there might be a couple more thrown in there. Oh, and the 2021 Behavioral Health Forum. So I will be asking, actually, Dan has agreed and Kat, and Bruce, I'll be reaching out to you to see if you'd be interested in being a panelist speaker for one of our segments.
Possibly. Let's discuss it outside this meeting and not take people's time.
Perfect. So I'll turn it over to you, Bruce, to introduce yourself.
Bruce Lang. I'm on the board of the Prairie Pride Coalition. here representing LGBTQIA+ people at this table.
Excellent. Thank you, Bruce. Andrea.
Sorry, it took me a second to unmute. My name's Andrea. I work at Life Center for Independent Living, or an advocacy group for people with disabilities, and I help people transition out of nursing homes and institutions back into the community.
Excellent. Thank you. Tom.
Tom Trell, Regional Recovery Support Specialist, Division of Mental Health. Also have co-occurring disorders, and I'm here for work, but it's also a topic I'm passionate about. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, Tom. Chantel.
I'm coordinating intake, Chantel Veterans Home and Aid for the iGirl and our home visiting. iGirl and doula services. I'm also a facilitator for Kids Serve through Parents Care and Share with the fabulous Miss Dorothy PIC. And what was the other question?
Just, what makes you wonderful? What brings you to the table?
What brings me to you, of course. No, but besides you, no, what brings to the table just family, having a lived experience, and I just have a stake in this. I believe in what the ROSC Council is doing, bringing us all together with these wonderful community partners.
Thank you. We couldn't do it with all of you at the table right here, right now, and even on the outside who isn't at the table today. Thank you, Chantel. Feli.
Hi, I am Feli Sebastian, and I'm a retired psychologist. I've been involved in several organizations. One was Labyrinth Outreach Services to Women, which is now under the YWCA. I'm currently helping Mary Campbell with Dreams Are Possible. And a week ago or 2 weeks ago, we launched our new project called the Extraordinary Women Project Bloomington Normal. We have our website up and going and also Facebook. So check us out and nominate deserving inspirational women that you know. Thank you.
Feli, you should be in one of the nominations, especially after your reading this afternoon.
One of the criteria is must not be known publicly or, have been awarded some awards in the past. So we're really focusing on women who have been living a quiet life there and had shown tenacity and perseverance in the many struggles that they had faced.
That's excellent. The unrecognized women that are holding it all together, not to dismiss men or how someone identifies. That's excellent. Thank you.
Thank you.
Kat.
Okay, so my name is Kat Hayes. I am working with Chestnut Health Systems via Illinois Recovery Corps through the AmeriCorps program. I'm working as a project coordinator for developing either a recovery organization or recovery cafe model for the McLean County area. What brought me to this is the fact that I have not a co-occurring disorder, but my primary mental health disorder is bipolar, and that's been not a battle, it's been a journey through the years. And I did well last year coping with COVID because I had a lot of stuff in place. I have seen how badly people have been coping with COVID. I saw that a lot when I was doing my externship as a medical assistant student. So I'm coming to that to help people, I guess, probably recover from what COVID did to their mental health.
Thank you, Kat, for your contribution and welcome. Thank you. Laurel.
Hi, I'm Laurel. Thanks for having me. I came here to see Angi for the most part. I came here to see her just because I'm just such a fan of hers and what she's doing. No, but we're old friends, so yeah. But anyway, I work for Chestnut. I'm a pandemic health navigator, and yeah, I enjoy helping people. So yeah, I'm glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Laurel. Yes, we used to work together at Mark's First 20 years ago. And then I was her personal trainer up until COVID. And Mary Ann.
Hello, I'm Mary Ann Drainer. I work for Chestnut Health Systems and my office is way down in Granite City, Illinois, but McLean County is my territory. I am a Narcan distributor. So that's my connection.
Excellent. Thank you, Mary Ann. And Randy.
Hi, I'm Randy Wilson. I'm a community health specialist with Chestnut Health Systems, see a lot of Chestnut on this today. I work with the Regional Leadership Center project, focusing in low access counties. So right now I'm in Menard, Logan, and Mason. And I've also been helping out with the Logan Mason ROSC the past couple, maybe like 2 months while a couple of our staff members are on leave. So I've been diving right into ROSC. So I look forward to learning about the different ROSCs in the state. And I'm also I just moved to McLean County. So I'm excited to do more things McLean County based.
Thank you, Randy, and welcome as well. You've been doing a great job.
Thank you.
Dorothy.
Hi, Angie. I think I kind of, okay. Sorry, my computer went wonk for a second. My name is Dorothy Davis, and I'm the Regional Coordinator for Parents Care and Share Central Region. And how I wound up at this meeting is Dan and Angie. They are awesome people, and they both crossed my path one way or the other. Also, I used to work at Chestnut many moons ago. There you go.
Thank you, Dorothy. And Michelle Cope.
Hi, I'm Michelle Cope with the Bloomington Public Library. I love all things connections, and I feel like that's what this group is about. So anything I can do to help, we want to be a part of the picnic that's coming up. And if you have any way that we can help your organization, we would love to do that. And I'm here also because I am a child of someone with alcoholism.
Thank you, Michelle. Linda Foster.
How you doing? And good afternoon, everyone. Yeah, Linda Foster, president of the NAACP, advocate, and a friend to all. And so what brought me to Ross, Angie, somehow I got invited and I haven't left. So, appreciate the good work that's going on, and we consider ourselves collaborators. And so anything that's good and that it can reach the masses and that it can make a difference in this community, we want to be part of.
Excellent. And Linda, you're never leaving because I'll find you. Everyone knows that here. Taylor Davis.
Hello, I'm Taylor Davis. I'm the behavioral health specialist at McLean County Health Department. And what brings me here is just we like doing work with the ROSC and just the overall message and inclusivity and just creating that like recovery oriented, not to play on words, but community.
Excellent. Thank you, Taylor. Mr. Beasley.
Hello, everybody. My name is Toy Beasley. I'm with an agency called TAS, Treatment Alternatives for Safer Communities. I'm the reentry support coordinator statewide. I'm also a part of the new McLean County Reentry Council that kicked off a few months back. And I'm also a person that have been just as impacted, formerly incarcerated. And what brings me to this table is just to have a seat at the table to be a voice for the voiceless. A lot of our people that get out of prison, get out of drug and alcohol treatment center, they need a voice. And I believe that having a seat at the table can help eliminate not only recidivism, but from people coming back in and out of treatment centers.
Very well said. Thank you, Toy. Taylor Blackkey.
Hi, everyone. I'm Taylor Blackkey. I am a CASA case manager. So I supervise volunteers who advocate for kids in foster care. And I'm just here to collaborate and a sense of community, and also to find resources to better help the bio parents that are struggling.
Thank you, Taylor. Natasha.
Hi there, Natasha Nunu Ponder with the Center for Human Services. I work in the recovery program with chronically and severely mentally ill adults, where we help connect them with community resources and help them live in the least restrictive environment. And so that's why I'm here. Thank you.
Thank you, Natasha. And Deb. Deb says, hello, everyone. Some tech difficulties. Thank you, Deb, for joining us. We totally understand. And hi, Jen. Oh, hey, Jen, what's going on? Jen and I used to work together too. And then Dan, I'll go ahead, turn it over to you to introduce yourself and then take it away.
Okay, I think like usual, we forgot Angelica again. Though.
No, I purposely was going to wait.
Oh, sorry, okay, never mind. I think I know most of you. My name is Dan Sokulski. I'm the recovery support specialist assigned to the ROSC with Angi, also a person with lived experience in recovery from alcohol and substance use disorder. And I'm just here, kind of like everyone said, try and do what we can to reach the community and the still suffering addicts, alcoholics, people with mental health disorders, try and bring as many supports we can to convey that recovery is a reality and build hope.
And I just wanted to say really quick, I'll just take a 1 minute because I know, Feli, you want to read an excerpt. And I know we want to discuss some activities going on with the recovery picnic this Saturday. But, you know, rarely do we have a time to really highlight and showcase such a phenomenal human being that has been giving to the ROSC, you know, unselfishly for so many years. And that is Angelica Adcock. And I might get a little teary-eyed because she's leaving us as of Friday, the Chestnut Health Systems, not the ROSC. But I really want to take this moment to tell her how much I appreciate her and that you are phenomenal. And honestly, our lives have been forever touched with just your contribution, just your presence. And I mean this sincerely. And I am so glad that you're a part of my life. And this is not goodbye, but you are on to better and bigger things wherever your energy will take you. I just want to say I am truly, truly thankful for you. And you mean a lot to me. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Angie. Well, I guess you already spoke for me, but I'm leaving Chestnut as of Friday to continue my entrepreneurship. I've been running a business on the side, and it's taken over my life, so I'm going to continue that. But I'm going to be still participating in the ROSC. I'm an adult child of an alcoholic, and I am in recovery from my own mental health. So it's been amazing to be involved in a professional level and also in a personal level. So it's been a pleasure being with you all. And I mean, I'll still be here, so don't be too teary-eyed.
She'll be here Saturday. You can give her tips if you want. Buy her jewelry Saturday.
Who's baking the pie to throw in my face on Saturday?
There might be marbles in it, whatnot. All right. So Dan, did you want to discuss the recovery picnic now, or should we go ahead and turn it over to Feli?
Let's go with Feli, and then whatever time we have left, we can do a picnic. So what we thought we'd do today with maybe 30 minutes of our time is we've asked Feli to kind of be a guest presenter. She's the author of her book. I'll let her explain that a little bit, but we thought maybe we'd do a little bit of a reading where she shares straight from her book, but also share some of her experiences in her road to recovery. And I guess it's a story that maybe we don't commonly associate with recovery when we think of, like, you know, drugs and alcohol, but it really, I think, does a good job of showing how broad recovery is and how much, you know, a community need something like a ROSC and all of our help to, touch the different aspects of recovery beyond, quote, just drugs and alcohol too. It all kind of weaves together. So with that, if you could just help me welcome Feli with a quick round of applause, and then we'll turn it over to her.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Dan and Angie, for your invitation to speak to the council this afternoon. To tell you the truth, I'm a little bit nervous. And it happens each time I share my book, Broken and Beloved. So before I read a section from it, let me tell you a little background. So in 2012, I believe, we started the renovation of the Labyrinth buildings, 2 condemned buildings in West Monroe. And I was astonished of the community's response from individuals, groups of students, church members, families who stepped forward, bringing everything and anything they have to help us complete the buildings for the women's housing needs and the staff's office. People brought big and small appliances, washer and dryer, electric fans, kitchen utensils, beddings, everything. And every Saturday, school sororities and fraternities knocked down walls, painted ceilings, laid down tiles, everything. And so I promised myself I will write a book about their generosity and started to take down notes of every encounter we had with them. Also, I wanted others to learn about the women's struggles to rebuild their lives and their triumphs. I wanted others to have an open mind and heart the way I was transformed as I learned about their stories. So I began to work on my book right after Mary Campbell and I turned Labyrinth Outreach to YWCA in July of 2016. I finished it in a year and had a few months looking for an editor. When I found one, the first thing she asked me after reading my manuscript was, "Where are you in the story?" I said to her that the book is really about the organization and the women. And she said, "Yes, but the readers would like to know about the author and how her life is related to the organization." I said to her with a laughter, "I don't want to be exposed." She laughed also, and in the end, we agreed for me to think about it for a couple of weeks. So through my editor's questions and interview, and as I began to put the pieces of my life together, I realized the reason behind my resistance to include my life in the book. I was afraid to be judged. I was afraid to be criticized of how I lived my life when I was young. So the excerpt I will read is about that. In 1987, while working on my PhD, I got a call from Bill, my longtime on again, off again American boyfriend of the past 20 years. He was living in India and invited me to visit him for a 3-month sabbatical between finishing my coursework and starting my dissertation. I readily accepted. We have met when I was 21 years old, and we were both teaching at Xavier School near Manila. He was studying abroad at the time, then a Jesuit seminarian studying for the priesthood. He taught religion. We started out as friends who enjoyed debating and sparring on everything from religion to philosophy to politics. I admired his faith. Through the years, we became pen pals and would visit each other on occasion. I was so enamored with him. We were both idealistic, and in hindsight, I was very naive. He became disillusioned with the Catholic Church. Before he made his ordination to the priesthood, He wrote me and said he wasn't going through with it and wanted to explore different faiths. He wanted to explore life in an ashram in India. So Bill visited me briefly in Manila before embarking on his travels. We lost touch for several years after that and took turns breaking off our relationship only to find one another again. We were physically more apart than together, but my emotional attachment to him ran very deep. When I moved to the States in 1981, I was resolute to begin an independent life on the other side of the world. Several years passed before I heard from Bill, but we found one another again. So in 1987, when he asked me to join him in Oroville, a universal ashram near Pondicherry, Tamil Nadu in South India, I accepted. He claimed it was some sort of utopia where people lived in harmony and most things were bought through trade. I spent 3 months in India living a very simple life. We visited various places and enjoyed the beauty and diversity of the large country. It was there that I learned to ride a bike at age 41, allowing me to navigate the countryside independently. I made pottery using a primitive wheel, rode an elephant in a reserve, explored temple ruins, and traveled on crowded buses to visit bustling markets. As much as I enjoyed my time in India, as September drew near, I knew I had a choice to make. Bill wanted me to stay at the ashram with him and make a life there. He always said that if he would marry, it would be to me, but he came short of ever asking me to marry him. After I left, he wrote to me every week we were apart. I knew in my heart that I wanted more. I wanted more for myself. I knew that my home was not in India, but I felt certain Bill's future was there. I believed that Bill was not really made to be married or in a steady relationship. After I returned from India, I finished my dissertation and healed from my heartbreak. I miss Bill tremendously, and not seeing him daily was difficult. In 1989, my mom immigrated to the States, and having her by my side was a balm to my heart. Later that year, I moved to Bloomington from Toledo, Ohio, and joined the Broman Counseling Department as a psychologist. I was busy building my clientele and supporting my siblings who moved to the States around that time. I did not hear from Bill for about 10 years. Then in 2000, he found me. He said he returned to the States to care for his ailing mother. We began emailing and calling each other more frequently and regularly. By then, I had been dating him on and off for 38 years. He was still very charismatic, and I could feel myself being pulled back to him. I was dazzled by his goodness and his faith. At the time, he was working in prison ministry in California. I think that's what always touched my heart, that he was always doing the work of God. While I was feeling high and excited with him being back in my life, I was also feeling tired of the uncertainty of my future. In 2006, I decided to meet him one final time to find out exactly what his plans were for us. When he said he had no plans for us to get married, I told him I wanted to move on with my life without him. As I left California, he begged and begged for us to stay in touch as friends. I did not have the heart to say no. Preparing for my flight back to Illinois, I stopped by the airport gift shop looking for something to read on the long flight. As I was browsing, a book fell off the shelf near me. As I bent down to pick it up, I noticed the title, How to Break Your Addiction to a Person. Realization hit me like a ton of bricks. I bought that book and read it in full before we landed. I felt so embarrassed and stupid. I had been a psychologist for 17 years, and I didn't recognize the signs that I was poorly attached and addicted to a person I loved. It was an unhealthy relationship between two good people. I had thought that one could only be addicted to something bad, like drugs or alcohol. I didn't know I was so addicted to him because I was narrowly focused on what I wanted and thought was good for me. I ignored a lot of red flags. I was resolute from that point on to be sober. I followed the book's 12-step program diligently. I prayed hard to God to strengthen. I recognized my weakness, and I knew I needed the higher power, someone bigger than my attachment, to help me remain sober, because for nearly 40 years, I was a slave to my addiction. By then, I was 60 years old. I learned to recognize my triggers of addiction to Bill. Although he continued to write me, I no longer clutch on to his words. But if I were to get married, it would be to you. And each time I was tempted to go back to him, I would stop and cherish how wonderful it was to feel free. I forgave myself and Bill. I accepted myself, broken, but still God's beloved. The last I heard, Bill returned to India. I returned to my life. It wasn't easy, but I knew then what would make me happy, and I definitely knew what made me unhappy. Now, when I hear from women who are attached to relationships and men who drag them down, I have greater empathy. I can relate to an unhealthy relationship. I really understand experientially what attachment is. I also know that you can free yourself. Well, just like any other healing process, mine is similar, that the healing process is never an arrow straight up. So for a few months, things were quiet, and I was going through my daily routine, and I thought I was done. The healing process was done, and I thought I got him out of my system. But then in the latter part of 2006, I had a spiritual crisis. I found myself getting angry, frustrated, sad, and disheartened. I questioned my faith and Jesus and their relevance to my faith. I was still in the process of releasing myself from my past relationship with Bill, and I was working around the clock. I sat and prayed and centered every day, but all I could did was cry, and I was very mad with God. I felt like my pain was bottomless. I felt emotionally and spiritually spent inside. I felt all dried up. Then I developed this itching, burning, scaly rash all over my body from collarbone to my toes, and no amount of lotion or ointment would abate it. Several visits to the dermatologist were futile, and I was misery for 2 years. And around this time also, my younger sister was diagnosed with cancer with only a few months to live. And then to top it all, when I was in Canada attending to her, I was in a terrible car accident. At that point, I was a mess. I blamed myself for it, even if it was the other driver's fault. I remember I cried myself to sleep that night. And then I awoke with a vision, and I saw myself in a pit or a dungeon similar to the ones that I've seen when I went to the Holy Land for a pilgrimage years ago. Then I felt a warmth, and then a presence, and I knew who it was. And then I heard myself saying, I surrender. I am yours. I'm tired fighting you. And then I had a peacefulness envelop me. Thank you.
Thank you, Feli. That was wonderful. I can certainly relate to a lot of those feelings when I was at my bottom with alcohol and pills. The way you describe being emotionally and spiritually dried up, mad at God, and then also just the relief that comes with surrender. You know, it's not a glorious battle with our addiction. You know, I used to look at it that way, like, you know, I'm battling this addiction. I even remember getting a gift from a family member. It was a dog tag with the Serenity Prayer. You know, I wore it like, you know, some soldier in this never-ending battle, you know, but really it wasn't about fighting it. It was about surrendering, right?
Surrendering.
How else would you like describe, just through reading that book and just your own journey of self-discovery, what are some other similarities you would describe, like this unhealthy relationship in correlation to, you know, drug addiction or alcoholism?
You want me to see the similarity then?
Yeah, if you don't mind, just kind of elaborating on that.
One was denial. I was in denial. Like I said, you know, there were a lot of red flags. He had said several times, not just, you know, verbally in front of me, you know, but even in his letters, you know, he would say, I'm not the marrying type, but if I were to get married, it would be you, you know. And so I was like a rabbit, you know, being dangled by a carrot, you know. I kept hoping and hoping. And I was working very hard, you know, to make him change his mind. But the red flags, like I said, were there all the time. But I was in denial. I was so stubborn. I think one is because I was young when I met him, and I was so naive, you know. It's the parallel about, you know, the alcohol is the same thing also, where when you drink, you know, you, even before you even put the bottle, you know, or the glass into your mouth, you already had that high. I had the same feeling when I would get his letters. And of course, now, you know, you have the text, you have the email, in a snap of a finger, you are connected. You know, then, you know, it will take 2 weeks before my letter gets to India or the Philippines when I was still there, or, you know, vice versa. But when I knew, I would count kind of like, okay, 2 weeks had passed, I should be getting, you know, his letter now. The excitement, you know, and the high would be, you know, would be there. And would be checking, you know, the mailbox, you know. So when I saw the book, How to Break Your Addiction to a Person, it just really got to me that I am addicted. I am an addict. You know, it's not alcohol or drugs, but it's a person. And so I was able to see from the book also the parallel, you know, of my addiction. So.
Yeah, Feli. I agree. It's like, even like that's a one individual you're addicted to build in this circumstance. A couple of things that stood out to me that it just really kind of reminds you of that stigma, is that you're a professional in a field diagnosing for 17 years.
Yep.
And you know, we become so subjective in our own lives that we miss some of these signs of, imbalance in our lives, or we ignore them, or we start to reconcile them for whatever reason. And then with that, it also leads to, it might be one person in your circumstance, or others, like Angelica pointed out, codependency, and that we rely on that external validation. And you kind of walk that line in your own mind, like, is this codependency, or am I just, receiving feedback? So thank you for bringing the attention to, again, I love how you pointed out in your book that addiction's usually, synonymous with drugs, alcohol, pornography, like, these, typically speaking, morally questionable acts that society holds.
Yeah.
But now that you can turn something, and just like, addiction, behavioral health, socioeconomic status knows no boundaries, knows no race, knows no lines, that it can really walk that fine line from a couple of drinks or a couple of dates over into that maladaptive realm, where it brings your whole homeostasis out of balance, and then you're kind of like, trudging, trying to figure out how to get out.
Yeah, exactly. And I think also part of that denial is that, I mean, you see the bad aspects of all the other addictions, but this is, like I said, I described to you, this man is, good, he's doing good in the community, in India, everything, and he's very spiritual. And so how could that be? I think, was, the part of the struggle, that I had. But again, coming back to two good people, but an unhealthy relationship, so he was getting his needs met, but I wasn't getting my needs met. And so I think that's a part also of that codependency, that I had, with him. I wanted to be married, to him. That's not, his plan in life, but on the other hand, he was, in many ways, he was satisfying some of my emotional needs, So I think, and I think one of the, because I was really beating myself for that long. How could you be so stupid, But then also, because of the distance, I think it was that long, and we were not together all the time. I think if the relationship we were both in the same place, it would be so obvious, at least, in my thinking, and to be able to get out of it, soon, But I have no regrets, of course, at that time, I think, that's why all this toxin, came out of my system, was because of the length of time I was, attached to this guy. I had to, even my body was already rejecting him and then saying, be clean.
And that's kind of like to Toy's point in the chat. I'm glad you honed in on that, the untreated trauma. Your body was like pushing it out. There's so much untreated trauma going on in those layers.
Exactly.
Thank you so much for your
Thank you.
sharing your truth and helping to eradicate some of that stigma surrounding addiction in general. Thank you. I really appreciate your message.
Thank you also for listening.
Were there any other questions or comments for Feli?
This is Toy. Hi, Feli, awesome. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
It's beautiful when you could share, because like the person said in the chat box, that she basically had a sister that went through that, which she would have known before, being educated on before, or make what have happened by you sharing. And I think that's what a lot of us can grow from. That's why they have AANA, Al-Anon, Wonder Circle. That's what those support groups are for. And a lot of people that are in marriages, they bring a lot of untreated trauma that they dealt with prior to their marriage. And I think a lot of people, when you seek out a mate or a spouse, that they don't go through counseling. So a lot of those things, they're not able to find out what's going on with that individual that may be going through. So, like I said, that's why I wrote in the chat box, dealing with untreated trauma. And when you don't deal with that untreated trauma, you bring it into that relationships. That's why a lot of men and women that are incarcerated in drug and alcohol treatment centers, a lot of them are incarcerated. A lot of them are going through the issues they're going through because they're dealing with that untreated trauma as a child, and they're taking that untreated trauma, bringing it to adulthood, and they're trying to survive, and they can't survive, so they turn to alcohol and drugs to deal with their pain that happened to them as a child. So thank you for sharing. I needed to hear that. You know, that's going to help me grow in within my marriage. Not saying that my marriage is on the bricks or anything like that, but just to hear that helps me, and I hope it helps others. So thank you.
Thank you, Toy. You know, one, like I said earlier, one of my fear about, you know, speaking up, and I mean, even, you know, including it in my book, is the feeling of, you know, being vulnerable and being judged. About a year before I released my book, the program That's What She Said came to town and was looking for women who would like to stand on stage and disclose, you know, a part of their life. I said yes without knowing what they were gonna be asking me to do, because I wanted to help Labyrinth so much, you know. And then when they were interviewing me and I gave them a different story, it still was part of me. She says, no, that's not, you know, people are not going to relate to that. And so when I told her about this, she says that does mean, you know, I have to be out there in the open, you know. But again, you know, it's also healing for me as I continue to share it, whether in written form or in verbal. And also, you know, people, when they hear it, they begin also to, like, you know, Toy said, you know, others who hear that begin also to heal, you know, within themselves. After that presentation, or, you know, the show that we had, I was surprised. Men and women, you know, came to me and said, you know, thank you for sharing, because it gave them, you know, the guts. Hopefully it was not that long like I did, you know, to be able to, you know, to get out of an unhealthy relationship. But thank you for listening, and we continue to grow and to heal from one another.
I feel like this is Linda. Awesome. Thank you for just being transparent and willing to be that conduit for somebody's out there that need to hear that. I've always said that there are some diseases out there that today don't have a name, but tomorrow will.
Yeah.
And there are some pains out there and some trauma out there that we don't know what the name of it is, but as time continue to go on and people continue to share, their names are being produced. So thank you so much for sharing that, because trauma comes all different ways, and it doesn't matter the color, and it doesn't matter the age. What matters is getting through it, you know, being successful, and becoming that person that you were intended to be. So thank you for continue to work on you, and that being the best you.
Thank you, Linda.
So thank you so much.
Thank you also. Appreciate you.
And thank you, Michelle, for dropping the link in the chat box. But you know what? I know Dan put in there, you get a chance to, you know, win a copy. Let me see. Yes, you could possibly win a copy. You know what? You come out to the picnic, I'm gonna have at least 5 copies on hand. You come to me, you get a copy. You get a copy, Laurel, and you get a copy, Andrea. Come out to the picnic. First come, first serve. Come get your copy fresh off the press.
Thank
That's
you.
a beautiful segue.
Thank you.
So yeah, we will have signed copies. We'll have all sorts of activities, family friendly games. We're gonna have like an arts corner. We're hoping to have a little music group, like a music circle. We are gonna have a guest speaker, Leroy W from Peoria. Great speaker, has over 20 years sobriety, helps a ton of guys, sponsored by Chris Raymer, who's like a national circuit speaker who has a great message. But Lily, you know, was involved in gangs in his youth, went to prison. I'm not going to tell this whole story, but it's a great story of redemption and recovery. So hopefully that alone will get some of you to come out. Last thing I'll just kind of plug is we're doing pretty good with raffle baskets, but the more baskets we have to raffle off, hopefully the more money we can earn. And this is all going into a director's fund, which will be like a temporary holding for the funds. Will then go to Thrive Housing, which Laura Passetti is also a council member. She just has conflicts at this meeting time every month, but she started a nonprofit. And these funds will basically that we're raising will go towards helping people pay for their first month's rent in transitional living coming out of treatment or jails, just whoever needs it. So this is kind of the first official fundraiser we're doing. We hope to make this an annual thing and build upon it. But if you have any items around your house that you think may be of value to somebody, or you want to pick a theme and put something together, you know, let me know. I'd be happy to come, you know, meet you or come by to pick it up, and we could raffle it off and, you know, use that money towards helping the next guy or gal that needs it. But it is Anderson Park, 1 o'clock. Speaker will be at 2, and it's family friendly. We hope if you can't make it, that you can tell somebody and help us get a decent turnout.
Dan, did you say there's going to be food there?
There will be food. Yes, thank you. I almost said that and then I didn't, but yes, there will be food. We got donations from La Gondolas. We've got cookies from Jimmy John's. We'll have burgers and dogs, and we will be following protocols, wearing gloves and masks as we handle the foods. So yeah, and there's also a big gazebo, so there's plenty of shade, and a what am I trying to say, playground area for kids.
But we won't be throwing no shade at nobody. So everyone come out and have some fun. It's gonna be a good time. And then that's this Saturday. But really quick, next Saturday, the ROSC will also have a table at what we're calling the Fully Free campaign. It's going to be at the Family Referral Resource Center on Washington. We have circulated some flyers, but I will get some more out next week. But it is basically to help end permanent punishment that a lot of people experience if there's ever been any kind of blemish on someone's record. And so this is really to educate the community about what is permanent punishment. There's going to be some legal counsel there to help, you know, get some things expunged on site. And the ROSC table will be there, but come out, there's gonna be a lot of different community vendors. And again, next Saturday, and I want to say that's 12 to 3. And there'll be other services and supports offered, but more to come on that as well.
That's awesome. We can all get our rap sheets cut in half.
I did a community service. Mine's wiped by now. It's like 96, maybe.
That is really cool, though. That's something that a lot of people need help navigating.
Yes. All right, well, I'm one that I will not keep you to the end for the sake of time. I respect all of your time. We can open it up for discussion, or everyone can have a fantastic afternoon, blessed afternoon, increased energy afternoon, whatever speaks to you. But I will see you all on Saturday, and I'll pick you up, Laurel. Don't worry, I got your text. I'll scoop you up beforehand. Just kidding. You all know I'm good for that. Dorothy shaking her head. Well, honestly, everyone have a great day. And Angelica, much love to you and for you. Thank you for everything you've done for the ROSC.
Yeah, we're not going to let you go so easy.
You know,
Michelle?
Do we have Angelica's contact information once she leaves, like an email or something where we can reach you through your work, your new business or something?
Dan and Angie have my cell phone number, but I'll make sure to pass along my email.
Thank you.
Can you do a YouTube video about your business and upload it?
I don't know. I don't want to like be abusing the ROSC.
Well, honestly, you're a business owner and you're striving. And in all seriousness, everyone, this is a great question, great situation. The ROSC is about connecting different resources in the community. And we are all about supporting people in their recovery journey, whether it's through support groups, whether it's through someone's personal business, whether it's advocating for rights, whether it's bringing, again, much needed supports connected together. So that, to me, in my opinion, is not. It's helping to eradicate stigma that we have, that one, a person that's in recovery can start their own business, have their own business, and things along those lines. So yes, I think it's definitely within the realms.
Angie?
Yeah.
There were several chats, and some, were directly, to me. But something's wrong with my chat. I couldn't get to reply to them, but I just want to acknowledge everyone, like Kat, Michelle, Angelica, feel free to connect with me privately if you want, and anybody who heard, my story, today. I don't know what's going on with I think it's my computer or my internet that's not allowing me to go in and reply individually.
At least your microphone is working.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Looks like you
That's
sold a
right.
couple copies too.
Oh.
It's a jewelry business that Angelica has, Kat.
Oh, did I forget to mention the picnic? I forget, Michelle, is the bookmobile going to be there, or? But there will be some presence from the library, right?
I will have a table. I'll be showing people how to download books to their personal devices so that they can read books from their own devices. And there's a lot of books on recovery in our hoopla. If they wanted to have a book discussion group within their recovery group, they could all download the same book together. So I think it's a great resource. And then we'll have a basket. I'm actually picking up items from Normal. And so we'll have a basket that's from both libraries. And then I have a book walk sitting over here that I will install that day so people can read a book as they walk through the park. So and family friendly. So
yeah, my 16-year-old will be at a golf meet, but my 8-year-old will be there.
Perfect.
She'll be helping set up and organize everything.
Yeah, and I have some leftover. This is a leftover book walk about planting a seed and how it grows. And so I thought that was very good for recovery. And then I took bookmobile schedules, made it into pulp, and put seeds and made like there's seed nuggets that you can plant next spring.
That's awesome, yeah. Michelle, thank you.
Yeah.
That story walk is a lot of work, so I appreciate that.
Yeah.
It's one that had already been created, so I just have to have some help planting them in the ground, and we're good.
Great. If you have any sponsees or volunteers looking for community service, we'll be out there about 11:30, setting up some of us, or noon. Send them over. We'll put them to work.
Okay. Yeah, I'll probably get there about 12:30 after I pick up Laurel. And now I just got Dorothy's text too, so it's cool.
Sweet. Bringing a caravan. All right, y'all. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys so much for having us. Thank you, Dr. Sebastian.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you, Lauren.
I love that level of respect. The doctor, I love that.